Hi everyone, hope you're doing absolutely awesome. So let's talk wave washers, or to use the correct terminology, wave springs. So as a brief recap, in systems with bearings, it's generally desirable to have preload. And there are two main ways that are used to affect preload. The first way is called hard preload, where you have some kind of threaded collar or something to affect the preload. And the second way is called spring preload, where you have a spring in the system that is used to affect the preload. So here I have three examples of wave springs for a 24mm spindle. These are all single turn wave springs because the material of the spring only makes a single turn. The two wave springs on the end here are split wave springs. You can see that there is a split in the material. And there are two subtypes of split wave springs. The first type is called gap, where there's a gap between the two ends of the wave spring. And the second type are like these. These are overlap, where there's an overlap of the material on the ends of the spring. Over a certain range of compression, wave springs obey Hooke's law. So the restoring force is proportional to the displacement by a factor K, which is the spring rate. So K is the spring rate there. By the way, with most wave springs, if you compress them too far, you will exceed the yield point of the steel, or the elastic limit of the steel, which will permanently damage the wave spring. So don't compress them too far. The spring rate K can be estimated using the following formula. Some interesting things to note about the formula. One is that the thickness of the material dramatically affects the spring rate. You can see this term T, thickness, is cubed in the equation. So if you double the thickness, the spring rate is going to be increased by a factor of 8. Also, the number of waves per turn dramatically affects the spring rate, because you can see this term N in the equation is to the 4th power. So if you double the number of waves per turn, the spring rate would be increased by a factor of 16. Another thing to note is that if you are doing this calculation yourself and you're using the units newtons and millimeters, the Young's modulus for steel is going to be around 200,000. I'll post a spreadsheet that you can download so you can easily do the calculations for yourself. I've gone ahead and estimated the spring rates of these three wave springs. The one on the left, I estimate the spring rate at 17 newtons per millimeter. The one in the center, I estimate at 138 newtons per millimeter. And the one on the right, I estimate at 165 newtons per millimeter. So the one on the right is almost 10 times stiffer than the one on the left. Sometimes these results are pretty unintuitive because some of the terms in the equation are cubed or to the 4th power. So you really should calculate them and not just go by intuition. If you have any comments or questions or suggestions for future videos, I'd love to hear from you, so please comment below. Also, Sharpie, if you're watching and you want to sponsor me, shoot me an email. Just kidding. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye now.